Hello, my name's Tom. I'm a countryside activities officer at the charity Open Country, where we help people with disabilities to access and enjoy the countryside. I'd like to thank you for listening to one of our audio walks here on YouTube. If you enjoy our outing today, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the Open Country YouTube channel, where we offer regular audio walks into the Yorkshire countryside and beyond. So let's put our best foot forward and venture out on today's audio walk. Hello, you're very welcome along on this latest audio walk from Open Country with me, Tom. You join me on what is a fresh early autumn day. The sun is doing its best to come out, but the fresh, chilly breeze is blowing some hefty clouds through that are currently obscuring it from view. The leaves on the trees are turning from their verdant summer green to the rusty hues of autumn. And I have to admit I've put an extra layer on today. There's a definite nip in the air. Today's audio walk is going to take us through some lovely parkland to the north of Leeds. We'll be walking through Golden Acre Park, Breary Marsh Nature Reserve and Addle Dam Nature Reserve. Along the way, hopefully we'll come across some wildlife encounters. We'll wander through an arboretum and also wander through some of the most spectacular parkland that Yorkshire has to offer. It sounds like I'm promising quite a lot there, doesn't it? So let's hope that our audio walk lives up to expectation as we put our best foot forward and head off into the woods surrounding Breary Marsh. If, like me, you choose to come for a walk through the woods during the autumn, one of the things that you're pretty much guaranteed to see, unless you're very unlucky, is fungi and mushrooms. As we've been wandering up this path towards Paul's Pond at the heart of Breary Marsh Nature Reserve, I've come across this huge fly agaric mushroom. The fly agarics, as well as being very poisonous, are very attractive to look at. They've got bright red caps with concentric white circles of spots surrounding it, all on top of this bright white stem that protrudes from the ground. Of course, the bright red colour is there to warn us not to pick it and eat it, because I'm sure we'd be not too well if we did. So I'm going to admire this one with my eyes and continue along my walk to leave it to grow and continue to inspire people as they wander past it in this beautiful area of woodland. The sound of the ducks reveal the fact that we've arrived at Paul's Pond. Once part of the Cuckridge Hall estate, it now belongs to Leeds City Council and forms part of Breary Marsh Nature Reserve. The pond was dug in 1820 and it wasn't named Paul's Pond until 1890 when the owner of the Cuckridge Hall estate, William Paul, decided to name it after himself. Cuckridge Hall is now a health club, and the surrounding parkland, not including the pond, is actually a golf course now. As the sun comes out, it's glinting beautifully off the surface. There's quite a lot of algae around, and quite a lot of ducks, as you may be able to hear in the background as well. Lots of mallards swimming about on the reflective surface. And just along the path from where I'm standing now, there's a pair of swans with a few of this year's cygnets. It really is a lovely spot to just contemplate the surroundings and enjoy the beauty of nature, which I'm sure when it was first dug back in the 1800s. That's exactly what the builders or makers intended it to be. It's good to see that so many years on, we can still do exactly that. We're now heading back towards Golden Acre Park along the Leeds Country Way, which is a path that encircles the city of Leeds through green corridors. It has been on my bucket list to walk the whole thing. I have done little sections of it in the past, but never the whole route as one. So maybe that's an audio walk for the future. You may now be able to hear the drone of the A660, the Otley to Leeds road in the background, which is tempting me back towards Golden Acre Park and more wonders that may greet us as we continue this walk, where we'll be leaving the countryway to explore a bit more of the parkland. We've just crossed under the main road and we're heading through Golden Acre Park itself. This park always brings back many happy memories for me, as it's one of my stomping grounds as a child. My parents used to bring me here quite frequently, as it's not too far away from where I live. And just clumping over the wooden boards over the little stream that passes through the tunnel underneath the main road has brought back some of those memories to me. It was once just half covered in boarding. You used to be able to look over the fence, and I just heard an owl there. If that's on the recording, you can vouch for me. It is the middle of the day, so I'm not sure why I did hear it, but it was definitely in this silver birch tree that I'm stood next to at the moment. How strange. Anyway, that's made me digress a little bit. I was talking about happy childhood memories. That's another memory that I can add to my list. Another lasting memory that I'll have of this place is that I saw my first ever tree creeper here. Tree creepers, although maybe not quite as impressive as an owl, tiny little birds that do exactly what their name suggests. They creep up trees. And when I first saw it, I actually thought it was a mouse because of the way it was scurrying quite rapidly up the side of the bark on a tree as I was walking past. But no, it was a tree creeper. They're sort of white on the front and brown on the back with little pointed beaks. And they use that beak to probe through the bark to find grubs and little treats. Well, I suppose they see them as treats, maybe we wouldn't, as they go up and down. But anyway, that's been trumped by a tawny owl today. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to beat that as we head down through the Arboretum towards Addledam Nature Reserve. We shall see. We've now entered into Addledam Nature Reserve, which is right down at the bottom end of Golden Acre Park. When I was a child, you used to have a key to get into it. It was a private little reserve, and we had some friends that had a key, and I always remember feeling very excited and privileged to enter into this private oasis every time that we came down with them. Now the site's owned by the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust and open to everybody, which is good because it means that everyone can splendour in this wonderful natural landscape. I say natural, it was actually once formed as a Victorian garden. But now it's just a brilliant place to come down and watch the birds of all different species and just relax in amongst the ponds, the trees and the scrubland. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to walk around the whole of the reserve today because they've closed one of the paths off because they're installing a new boardwalk. It's good to see that there's lots of good work going on here. They've recently installed some new hides as well, which we'll go in a moment and see what we can see from them. I've just had a quick look inside the first hide that you come to here at Addledam Nature Reserve, which overlooks a small pond where there's some bird feeders which are continuously busy with little birds popping in and out for their mid-morning snack. Amongst the birds that I've just spotted were plenty of blue tits and great tits, a chaffinch, a coal tit, and also a family of moorhens. There's also a quick visit from a friendly pheasant and a squirrel as well. We'll come on to the squirrels a little bit later on in this audio walk. It seemed like the sounds of wood being chopped and hammered into place on the building of the new boardwalk at the other side of the pond didn't seem to be putting them off. I'm going to head down now to the second hide, which overlooks a larger lake. The last time I came, I actually saw a couple of kingfishers. So you never know, we may be in luck again today. Although maybe an owl is a bit too much excitement for one audio walk. But we'll wander down and see what we can find anyway. I've just left the second hide and unfortunately no kingfishers to greet us today. But I did see a heron on a nest in a tree. It's a little bit early for them to be nesting, but they'll just be roosting and maybe prospecting for the breeding season, which for herons tends to be January and February time. A little bit earlier than the rest of the birds that we associate with springtime. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we can't do the full loop around Addledam, so I'm going to head back up to the main entrance and go back towards Golden Acre Park to explore the lake there and the rest of the parkland. Now, we may not have seen any real kingfishers, but at the entrance to Addledam, they've installed a larger-than-life carving of one that's been carved out of a large tree trunk. Its beak is standing proud, heading up towards the sky as if it's in a diving position. It's really intricately carved. It's absolutely beautiful. Maybe that makes up for not seeing the real thing. We've now made it to the little shelter that protrudes onto the main lake at Golden Acre Park. So if you can hear my voice echoing slightly, that's the reason. It provides decent shelter on a rainy day, but thankfully today is proving to be quite the opposite. The sun's coming out and it's absolutely stunning now. The blue is framing the autumn colours that are starting to come through on the leaves on the trees that surround this vast area of water. People often come here to feed the ducks, and I think they know that because as soon as they saw me walking up the path to come and have a look at them and say hello, they all started flocking round thinking that I had something for them. Unfortunately, I don't. I'm just going to appreciate them and take advantage of their inquisitive nature. So we've got plenty of mallards that are swimming and dabbling around. We've got some swans just coming into land, perfectly done. And that one's just dislodged one of the many black-headed gulls that are also preening themselves on the rocks and on the water surface surrounding me. Quite disconcerting, really, the name black-headed gull, because at this time of the year they start losing that black head that they're named after, which only appears during the breeding season. And now it just looks like they're wearing some kind of earbud, because they just have a little black spot on either side of the head where we'd think their ears would be. I've just now taken a seat on one of the many benches that dot the park, all in convenient positions where you can observe your natural surroundings and just soak it all in. No matter when you come to Golden Acre Park, it's always busy. I'm always amazed when I pull into the car park at an hour where I think, well, it's going to be quiet and I'm going to have the place to myself, and you struggle to get a car parking space, which I must admit was definitely the case today. But you can always find these little pockets of quiet where you can just sit and admire the black-headed gulls on the water or look up into the trees. And I think that's why it is always so busy, because it provides people with that haven that they can escape the humdrum of everyday life and just be at one with nature for a little while. You may be able to hear the hum of the road in the background, but that's often drowned out as you move away by the sounds of the birds in the trees. Now, earlier on, I mentioned the squirrels. They're quite prevalent here at Golden Acre Park because a lot of people feed them. If ever I'm doing a beginner's wildlife photography course, I'll often bring people here because the squirrels literally run up to you, and even if you haven't got a telephoto lens on, you can do a decent job at getting a good photograph of them. I'm just walking back via the outskirts of the arboretum and the rhododendron bushes that climb all over this area. It tends to be the favourite spot of the squirrel. And if I sit here for long enough and quietly enough, you can guarantee that there'll be one or two scurrying around me in no time. And right on cue, there's one just peering round one of the rhododendron branches now, thinking, who's that there? As we walk back towards the cafe and the formal gardens of Golden Acre Park, we're nearly reaching the end of our audio walk. It's been lovely to get back out and appreciate this wonderful natural world in all its glory. And it's interesting to come out at the time of seasons change as well. You really do feel like you're at the cusp of something about to happen and something just coming to an end. And that's the brilliant thing about nature. Although we have this change every year, every time it comes round, there feels something fresh about it. Something to look back on and something to look forward to as well. As another friendly little squirrel scurries through the leaves behind me, I'll wrap up the audio walk here. I'd like to thank you all very much for listening once again and lending me your ears for the short amount of time that we've been out. But hopefully This little glimpse and fix of nature will lift you for the rest of the day. If you want to listen to more audio walks, then check out opencountry.org.uk, where you can also find out about Open Country's other activities, and you can also donate there as well. But from here at Golden Acre Park, thank you once again for listening. I look forward to leading you on another audio walk in the not too distant future.
Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far in the episode, you've obviously enjoyed today's audio walk. Therefore, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe for more. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be reminded when we post the next episode. In the meantime, why not listen to the audio walk listed on screen now? It's another great outing.